listening to Radio Rangrez, KLNO HD3, Down.
All right, welcome back. You are tuned in to Radio Rangrez, Rang Bhar De, and thank you once again for tuning in right now. And after a small little break, we do have Miss Pallavi Ahluwalia of the Ahluwalia Law Offices joining us back again and, of course, going over all the immigration updates that she has for you guys from the immigration world. And, of course, we are opening up the lines also for your immigration questions right now. 972-440-5800. That is 972-440-5800. And without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Pallaviji on air with us right now. Good evening. How are you doing?
A wonderful evening to you, Vaibhav. I'm doing very well. Glad to be part of your evening drive time for our community. I'm glad to bring any updates that I feel are important to the immigrant communities.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, it's been a while that we have spoken, but a lot has, transpired and a lot has happened. Of course, a lot of, word around as far as the H-1B is concerned. I also hear there is an alternative visa to H-1B that we will talk about as well. But first of all, I just want to get your pulse on the immigration world right now. What do you think? Where is this heading? What are your feelings?
It's a little bit of a tough go right now. We're seeing everything. So we can see on the ICE side what's going on, right? Over last year, when people started to get laid off, we saw some H1 cases with valid status land into deportation proceedings. So we've seen this morph over the last year to where now, and during that time, whatever legal work was being done in terms of arguments to the government on cases were not disturbed, meaning they were being asked a regular set of questions on RFEs. There was nothing absurd. Now, it almost seems from my view that there has been an instruction that's given on pretty much every case as to how to thwart that filing and how to interrupt and get a different result. So for every case that we are seeing, and we're kind of surprised that they are reading the case, they are quoting it back to us, but they're not registering what that information is. And they're asking the same questions that were asked in the initial expectations, whether it was through an RFE or what the law asked us to do. So I'm talking a little bit in riddles here, but say, for example, they tell us, how is this person an extraordinary individual, and we argue it. They come back and quote everything that we send to them, including all the proof, and they'll come back and say, how is this person extraordinary? So then now we know that we have the government that is kind of been instructed to put a little bit more difficulty in their decision making. Thank God they're not denying it. They are going through the process of an RFE, sometimes annoyed even, but they are giving a good opportunity for the annoyed to stand a decent chance to get approved. So we're thankful that we're moving along and we still have success stories. But at any point, this can turn around and become denials too. There is an H-1B. Last year, the approval rates for H-1Bs were 90%. Then it had kind of mid-year fallen to 80%. I believe right now it's at 70%. So which means out of 30 cases out of the 100 are getting denied. I'm shocked at what they're being denied for, because H-1Bs so far have been pretty standard. But then I do see questions that come in from the government, and the question will be, you're paying this person not a low wage, but a high wage. Please tell me why you're paying this person a high wage. Now, this is completely in the ridiculous realm, and it's happening too. Right. So we're telling companies and petitioners we represent, which is mostly company owners as well as HRs, that they have to document how they arrive at the wage calculation for running an H-1B. So a lot of little nuances to whatever work that's being done, but that's my overall view. It's getting tighter a bit.
All right. Okay. All right. Once again, guys, the number to the studio here is 972-440-5800. That's 972-440-5800. If you do have an immigration question for Pallavi ji, definitely give us a call here. We'll gladly take your questions on air. 972-440-5800. You are listening to, of course, Ms. Pallavi Ahluwalia of the Ahluwalia Law Offices. She's going over all the immigration updates for you guys right now. Let's stick on the H-1B topic here, Pallavi ji, and I would like to ask you, a lot of talk about appointments being cancelled at U.S. consulates in India. What are your thoughts on that? There's also talk about like all the appointments are now shifted to 2027 for visa stampings. Does that hold any truth, and do you hear anything about it?
Okay. It is true. So we have, at least I say this to people, I actually have to argue with them. It's really funny because strangely enough, there are people who don't look up what's going on in the world before they decide to travel to their home countries for stamping. So we were saying this all of last year during fall, and we said please do not travel. Actually, we started to say that from the beginning of the year, but we kind of increased the tempo on our requests to people saying, please do not travel. People did not hear us, and I have at least a few consuls every week who are sitting in India, are unable to return back to the home country. There were some people, they think the government gave me a valid appointment. So I have an appointment. Like, why would I not travel? Like, the government is telling me you can come. But listen, guys, that was a trick. It is a trick. Because what they are trying to do is, they've now had you commit to that appointment and you show up, and now that game is in their hands, because they can cancel that appointment, not give it to you for a year or longer, and then you're stuck. Now, there is some exceptional circumstances request that petitioners can make, which is companies. That means that the company has to be tied in to say how important you are. There's some humanitarian request can be made. It could be made based on medical requirements, on financial constraints, a bunch of things. And then the government will use that option to say whether they will grant you another appointment or not. And if they grant you that appointment, they still don't have to give you that H-1B stamp, by the way. That's just a permission to be looked at for your visa for the H-1B. So it is absolutely true. Appointments are getting pushed back, and the pushback is as long as 2027.
Right. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for that clarification there. Once again, we are with Ms. Pallavi Ahluwalia of the Ahluwalia Law Offices. And, right at the blog section of your page, which is, by the way, guys, yourdesilawyer.com, you can click on the blog section of the page and get all the information that you need from the immigration world. There is a mention of an O1 visa. So if you can kind of go over what that is it an alternative to H-1B?
So the O1 visa is an extraordinary visa, O1A, that applies to people who are extraordinary in the sciences, arts, in their respective fields. Now, there is a criteria of 10, out of which you must meet the government's muster by having about 3 of the criteria to be very strong. So I spoke to somebody who was an H-1B entrant, but was wanting to pivot towards an O1 instead. And the only thing with the O1 that somebody has to understand in lieu of the H-1B, if you don't get selected for the H-1B, then by all means do try the O1. But the O1 is based on your extraordinary abilities. So have you been awarded nationally or internationally? Have you judged the work of others? Have you been published and quoted? So do you have citations and published materials? Have people written about you? So basically, is there published material about you, not what you've written, but what people are writing about you? Do you work in a critical capacity in in a distinguished organization. This could be a university or somebody or non-profit or something that we can characterize as distinguished. And do you have made some original contribution? So, and that could be maybe, not young folks. I'm talking about people who are finished their masters, may have a thesis they have written. That may be a unique perspective to things. So a lot of things can be argued to meet that. But then you truly have to stand apart from your peers and must be that top, I'd say, 5 to 10% at least. For EB1As, we ask for 1 to 5% in your occupation, your field. And for O1s, they can be, as of right now, by the current adjudication standards, be 5 to 10%.
All right. Thank you for that. Once again, guys, you can read up more on that on the blog section of the page, yourdesilawyer.com or ahluwalialaw.com /blog, and you can go ahead and check it out. Now, let's also kind of talk a little. I know you probably don't have your computer in front of you, but if just off the top of your head, if you want to talk about the March visa bulletin at all, any significant changes that you see?
So there is an upward movement actually by 11 months for EB2 for India, right, which is like a good one. And so we know that through executive action, President Trump has taken away immigrant visas for a lot of countries. He's trying to get a lot of countries who either had overstays or who had utilized a lot of federal government benefits whose immigrants had. He's kind of paused immigration from there. So now, those are people who are regularly coming into the country. Now that that's paused, that's created a little bit of an extra number that has been passed on to advance the EB2 category for India a little bit, as well as the EB1 category, which has gone to January of 2024, which is pretty good. Now, these have only advanced in the dates for filing column and not for the final action dates column, which means you are able to file if the government accepts your case. And USCIS says it's all good to go with the column 2. Otherwise, you still have a little while to wait to get the final action dates current. So that's about the picture. It's advanced slightly for EB3 for the rest of the world too. It remains current for the rest of the world. Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, all of them remain current in the EB2 and EB1 category, of course.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Once again, guys, 972-440-5800 is the number to the studio. That is 972-440-5800. We are with Ms. Pallavi Ahluwalia of the Ahluwalia Law Offices, talking all things immigration right now for you guys. If you want to schedule yourself an appointment, you can always do that by calling the office, 972-361-0606. That's 972-361-0606, and get more details there. Going back to H-1B, right? For financial year 2027, are there any do's and don'ts as far as the H-1B lottery registration is concerned?
Yes, it is a super tedious work in progress for most cases. Number one, the obligation of an employer to comply with some homework that has to be done prior to registering anybody in the lottery, because you're going to be stuck to whatever you have written in the whatever you've written in the case, which I can say we're talking about the wages that you're going to pay somebody. We're talking about you having how you decided to pay them, whatever number you paid them. But also, more than even that, if you are deciding to not pay them level 3 or 4, your chances in the lottery are drastically reduced, right? So the government has been a little bit tough on in this announcement that it's not just super specialized bright workers who are part of the H-1B, you should be senior workers who are being paid level 3 or 4 wages for you to get a shot at the running through the numbers there. So it's going to be a little bit wacky this time. But also an obligation to the employers to please set up ads, see if you've been hiring people here in the U.S. Without hiring the H-1B employees. Hopefully you're all doing people who are locally present here and not running anyone from India or from Pakistan or from Bangladesh, any other country that you're doing business with, because those people will have to pay $100,000 to get their H-1B stamped. So there are a lot of things, and I am positive that everyone reads up and is aware of what the basics are. All they have to be tuned into and get a good team on their side is to have the nuanced understanding of what the H-1B registration will look like this year.
Do you anticipate the registrations to kind of go down because of the fees?
I don't think, companies that used to hire people from abroad, they have, from what I understand from attorneys who represent them, have stopped cold turkey. They will not be getting those people in at all. So those guys are gone out of the system.
Okay.
And there would be a good 150, 200,000 of those guys that were being put in through the, through the numbers. And I'm talking about the TCS, the Infosys, all of the big guys, Cognizants, that could afford to put all of these people in the lottery because, all of them were coming here to staff the end clients. Now, given that those people are out of the mix, we have a better shot this time around for students who have graduated from here or people who have already been in senior positions but are employment authorized to other visa categories. Say, for example, L1s or H4s that have been senior in positions. They are better positioned to enter the lottery and be successful at it. And for the students who've been working for a bit and have been able to get their employers to understand how important they are and can get the level 3, 4 salary, they also stand a good chance. So, yes, the numbers may decrease from the extra filing. That was insane numbers of 450,000 people filing for 85,000 spots. So that will decrease, but hopefully it will come down to a point of where people that are present in the country will get a fair shot.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Now, I would also like to ask you about the DHS shutdown. Will that impact immigration processing in general? What do foreign nationals and employers really need to know about that?
Vaibhav, I did lose you just for 1 second. Could you repeat that last part?
The DHS shutdown regarding immigration processing.
Yes. So the immigration processing, more or less, right now is ongoing, right? What is not going on is the Department of Labor, right? That has, that is kind of shut down. So we, from a perspective of seeing what's going on, have even actually seen Department of Labor produce labor condition applications. Though traditionally that's the first function to shut down, I have not seen that. There will be consular processing delays, right? There are some people who have E-Verify system concerns. We also have, CBP, TSA, all of those guys impacted. I would say, USCIS does operate and has fees that are attached to their forms, so they are not impacted. Anything that's fee-funded is not impacted. It's slow down overall, but it's not something that is going to get impacted. It is only people, unfunded agencies like Department of Labor that will feel the impact, or CBP and all of those. And, of course, also ICE, right, because that's not funded either.
Right. Once again, guys, if you do want to schedule yourself an appointment with the Ahluwalia Law Offices, 972-361-0606 is the number to call. You can also log on to yourdesilawyer.com and find out more details. Lastly, I do want to ask you about, visit visas, B1, B2 visas, of course, and, just normal immigration, like even for green card holders or U.S. citizens who are, going abroad, whether they're going to India or whatever. Do you see any sort of like, do you hear anything about like just like more strict approach by like officers and stuff like that at airports and do you hear anything about that?
So no, we're actually at this time not hearing more things regarding that yet. We don't have much going on in that regard.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. And anything else that you would like to cover as far as immigration is concerned? I know we covered a whole lot today.
Just to continue on that thought, Vaibhav, though, this was more like something that was happening last year, right? And there were a lot of people, especially the visiting parents with green cards, that got thwarted a bit, right, and got surprised. But I think people have kind of sort of cleaned up that a little bit. I am not hearing this right now. So it is possible.
Which is good.
Yeah, so which is a good thing. So it is possible, but really to everyone, our caution is still don't travel. Like, why are you dealing with these guys right now? I mean, I was out for a few weeks and I came back and I saw pretty smooth processing. I didn't see. I was curious to see, the secondary detention kind of spaces, whether they were full of people or not, at least at Dallas Fort Worth. I didn't see that. So I'm thinking that maybe, we're cleaning up that thing, and now that they've created the fear of God, that people are a little bit more cautious as to what they're doing and not getting in trouble. And I hope that remains true.
Absolutely. And finally, we always do, I think we should do some PSAs, about how one should behave and one should be. I think now more than ever, and we started talking about this maybe a year, 2 years ago. We already started talking about, the way we carry ourselves and our nationality and the way we actually represent, it really does matter. And I know you've been an advocate of that. So, now more than ever, I think it needs to be talked about.
Yes, for sure. I mean, the funny thing is that whenever people see what's going on in Twitter or, say, for example, even at the city council meeting, right, that we're seeing in Frisco and all of that, right? Whenever we see people doing whatever they're doing, they think it's not about me. It's not about me. It is talking about somebody else. And that's the portion that always surprises me, is that when we don't look at ourselves and take responsibility, and we always think that it's not us because we're just one of us, right? And how can people discover that? But there are videos running around about how Indians are behaving on streets, how some streets are blocked and, they're playing games on the road by blocking the road. I mean, I'm talking about kids here, but come on, like, can we just take it inside? Do we really have to have anyone take pictures of that or videos of that and put in, just such outraged remarks about how this country is converting into India? We don't want that. Right? We don't want that. The outrage is fake, first of all, by those people who are doing this. I mean, there's nothing harmful going on if there are a bunch of kids that are playing on the street. But we as parents also have to be aware that these are public areas. Why are the kids playing on the street? Like, why are your kids blocking a street and playing there? And I'm just giving one example here. It's how we're dancing out in the snow. What are we thinking? Are we all movie stars now? I mean, what are we thinking right now? Right? And then when it comes to fraud, I can go and talk about it forever. People who have come in here have assistants in India running those jobs. So they really don't know what they're actually doing.
Correct.
Right? And they're running their engineering jobs with so much confidence that they can manage this. I mean, I don't even know what we're doing here. Right? So I think it's a good time to look at ourselves and say, this is not what this country is expecting out of us. We are the model, we have been the model citizens, paying our taxes, and we've been good with this. Can we just exhibit that side of us that is, non-disturbing to other people and continuing whatever we do proudly within the realms of our private zones. We don't see Christians on the streets and making noises. We don't see them worshipping Richard Gere or whoever it is and putting coconuts by those pictures. Come on. Let's not make these guys think that we're weird. Please. Let's just come through as for what the reason that we are here. We are professionals, students, run those things that we do without it seeming the oddity of our things, which we celebrate in India, are not welcome at this stage in Texas, especially not in Frisco, Texas.
Right. Well, thank you. It had to be said, and you said it, and you said it so beautifully. Thank you so much, Pallavi ji, as always, and welcome back again. Really so happy to have you, as always.
I am so glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon next week. Thank you so much for joining in.